Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko 253X4DFG. This is a dark bronze anodized aluminum. Thermal barrier saddle is what it is. This is what we would call a thermal break threshold. It's a thermal break threshold because it features a thermoplastic insulator between the two pieces of aluminum. And you would use that in environments where you want to all but completely retard the transmission of energy, heat to cold, things of that nature. That thermal plastic that separates the aluminum components is how that's accomplished. That break that's right there. That's how that's done. Okay. Now, let's talk about some dimensional properties. This is probably 7-inch wide, looking at the part number. Maybe 7 1/8. Yeah, that's what it is. You've got a 3-inch piece and a 4-inch piece. You got a 253 by 4 is what you have. And then that thermal break, thermoplastic takes up 1/8 of an inch, so that makes it 7 1/8. Overall height is 1/2 inch. This would be completely handicap compliant. Okay. Now, where would you use such a threshold? Let's talk about that now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. You can certainly use this threshold anywhere where you needed a saddle threshold, but you're not going to use this just anywhere where you need a saddle threshold, and that's because, probably because of the cost for the material itself. A thermal break threshold ends up being expensive. Where you will certainly use these is where retarding the transmission of, the loss of energy from the inside living space, the inside part of the building, and you're going to see thermal break thresholds specified where you have not only full gasketing, and that gasketing is constructed in such a way, or I should say configured in such a way where you're going to have mounting brackets or hardware compatible gasketing, so you don't have any gaps in the weather stripping at all, where you're going to certainly have a door bottom, sweep door bottom. You might even have a polyurethane hollow metal door, and you might even have a thermal break steel frame as well. They do make hollow metal frames on the same concept, where there is no continuity of metal from exterior to interior. And I remember the first job, and I've only done, I can think off the top of my head, 2 jobs where I've done thermal break frames. The first time that I saw it, and it was only a couple maybe, and I happened to be at the job 3 months later. Very large project, building a large building for Catholic Charities. And I supplied the hollow metal doors and frames, the hardware, blah, blah, blah. And in Chicago, went back to key the locks 3 months later. It happened to be the stark middle of winter. It's 4:30 in the afternoon, and I'm almost done. And it is as dark as it can be outside. And it's 12 or 17 degrees. And I got down to that area where those 2 thermal break openings were, and I was going to rekey the, whatever it was, I forget. Probably exit devices would be my guess. And I put my hand on the inside of that frame. I said, golly, that's not completely room temperature, but it is substantially warmer than what I would have expected. Open that door, and you can hear the cracking and the creaking of the breaking ice as you're opening the door. It's frozen. I mean, it's typical Chicago, January 14th. Put my hand on the outside, just ice covered, brand new hollow metal frame. Of course, these were galvanized, oil-based paint, but the inside was really nice and warm. And what else you're going to get in that scenario is it's also the buildup of condensation that is stemmed as well, because you won't have that cold material hitting that moist, warm air on the inside of the building, and that really stops it dead in its tracks. And thermal break frames, polyurethane doors, thermal break thresholds, all that material is really expensive. but I can tell you firsthand that it makes a real difference. That's why you might consider using this. They make different sizes of the thermal brake material, and it's literally going to come to you in pieces. You'll have holes, obviously, in both pieces. You'll have to drill extra mounting holes in the whole 9 yards. But that's what this is for, and it's proven to be effective. Every major manufacturer makes thermal brake thresholds. I just don't sell it very often. This happens to be a 6-inch sample piece for purposes of this video. This is in a dark bronze finish and will include typical 10 by 1.5 inch flathead wood screws in a normal installation. Let's switch to the screen view now and let's take a closer look at some supporting information. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. This is the item that we are indeed looking at, 253X4DFG, extended description information, thermal barrier or thermal brake threshold, the width, the height, made of aluminum, dark bronze. Okay, the vinyl key, that's the key. That's the key to the design, but it's also called a key itself. Provides a break in the threshold that reduces the transfer of hot and cold temperatures from one side to the other. Generally the loss of heat to cold. That's what it is. Installation instructions are pretty generic and straightforward. Measure twice, cut once, that sort of thing. Coping around the stop is of course a very typical operation that you're going to go through. There are images linked to down below that I can show you. There's a cross-section or a profile of the threshold, the leading edge or a leading edge. Nice little serrations underneath here. And what that feature does is allow you to experience an installation where lateral pressure on the threshold is somewhat reduced by the fact that it's biting into the sill a little bit more, I suppose. That's the intended purpose. Close up of that key and that thermal brake, that means there's no aluminum touching any aluminum. Nothing is communicating. Another view. Top view, so to speak, the underside, the screws that are included. Okay, now, there's a link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page in our site. And when we click on that, I want to first copy our part number, 253X4. When we click on that link, the manufacturer's page will load. This will allow you to review not only all of the Pemko products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog that's here. Let's do a find function, Control F on our keyboard for 253X4, and that will get us to the area, the section of the catalog where we will see all of our thermal brake thresholds. And here's the one we're working on, 253X4. It's got a 3-inch, and it's got a 4-inch. The key makes it 1/8 of an inch heavy. Scroll around in this area and you'll see, wow, there's lots of options when it comes to thermal brake. Who would have thought? Lots of options. Stainless half-saddle thermal brake options. 1/4-inch rise options. You can get out to 12 1/8. Then you've got the offset saddle thresholds, transition different floor heights. Very typical, very common as well. More thermal brake and stainless as saddle thresholds. Not many people know about thermal brake thresholds, and even less people even ask for them. You'll only see them on a specification. I'll show you the one I like since you asked. All kidding aside, the one I like may not be in here. Flexible joint, not the same concept. If you've got a high-rise tower and you want to close off a gap between two, pieces of concrete that move independently of each other. Well, the one I like the bump-up thresholds. The one I would like would have a interlock that would incorporate the bump up, an interlock, and a thermal brake. But that bump up, that interlock does defeat the purpose to a certain extent. Yeah, this is I like this in a non-thermal brake. I like this style a lot. Belt and suspenders approach, whether it be, this would be an outswing most likely. You'll have an L angle here to the face of the door, and it makes a mechanical seal on the outside. So what would be really great is if there was a thermal brake right here. That would be nice. Mechanically interlocked, broken here, obviously broken here. Someone may have that. Another manufacturer. I don't see it from Pemko. Anyway, so lots of thermal brake options here, a few pages of the material. There is no other manufacturer's catalog that has a greater available range of products as compared to Pemko. That's just the bottom line. Okay, nobody has as much to offer as they do. This is a 300-plus page catalog, and I would certainly recommend you diving into it. Other things that are on this page, let's take a look. The A117.1 guide, that is accessible and usable buildings and facilities. Why have this document here? Well, it talks a lot about thresholds and what's permissible in terms of handicap compliance. Thresholds at doorways when provided shall be a ½ inch maximum in height. Raised thresholds and changes in level at doorways shall comply with sections 302 and 303. All you got to do is look up 303 and you'll see everything about changes in level. This is the formula by which it's determined. Rise over run. Okay. All right, let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've made it this far into this video, you must be determined to see it through to the end, and we appreciate your hanging in there with us and watching this entire video. It means a lot. It takes a lot of work to create these videos in the sense that, you know, it's time taken away from doing other things. However, the advantage for me personally of creating these videos is the fact that it does allow myself to either learn about something new, to reacquaint myself with something, or to reinforce what I believe that I already know. Any comments that you might leave down below would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, in conclusion, if you have any questions on the 253X4 underscore for finish, and I realized that I forgot to tell you the other finishes that it's available in, and I will pull that up now. It's certainly going to be available in the mill aluminum finish. It will be available in the powder-coated dark bronze, the solid architectural bronze, not made of aluminum. Now it's made of an architectural bronze base material onto which you can do mill, satin, polished, oil rubbed. Lots of options there. You can also do this in a white powder coat, and then of course stainless steel in a brushed finish. They may be able to polish that as well. We'd have to get a quote for that. So those finishes and 3 different base materials allow you to get this type of profile. Why so many? Well, it's a common profile. 7-inch, you know, thermal brake. Yeah, you're going to bump into that. Like I said, I just don't sell it very often. It's probably because of the cost would be my guess. If it was my building, I would want it. No doubt. I've witnessed the fact that it works firsthand. Any questions on this or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.